And let's talk about how to find good employees. Okay? So the thing that you have to deal with when you're dealing with employees is, I think a lot of people get hung up on a lot of people being us entrepreneurs, us that want to grow into and have and do and have a bigger impact in our lives. What happens is you get hung up on the little stuff. Okay? And the little stuff in this case would be what we're talking about is employees. So here's what I learned through the School of Hard Knocks. I can't begin to tell you how many times I was in the field extremely aggravated, frustrated, because the guy I'm working with isn't doing his job. He's not helping. He is being lazy. He's working for an hourly rate, which is fine, okay? But that doesn't work for me, okay? So what they would get is they would get me giving them grief all day long, and then I would let them go at the end of the day. I'm not going to let them go in the middle of the day and mess up my mojo, and I would just say, look, this is the way it works. Now, over time, it took me a long time to come up with the mindset, because, you know, you come off like you're an animal or something, or you're doing something you shouldn't do or something like that. And the truth is here's the truth. People are happy or unhappy on their own. People have their goals and their ambitions and so on and so forth. They have the life path that they are on. If they want to join in and be a part of what we're doing, they need to do their fair share. You know, and after dealing with this for years and years and years and years, that's the best terminology that I've been able to come up with. So basically, here's how this works. So I'm up front with them. When we hire people, my hiring ad isn't 2 sentences. I need help. It's not that. It's just, look, if you're a guy who shows up every day, does what you're supposed to do, cleans up after yourself, you don't need your mom here to take care of you. I didn't put that in there, but you need that. That's one of my funny little jokes that I would, when I was mad and being rude, I would say, well, here's the way this works. If you can bring your mom with you tomorrow, we'll do this. Because every time there was a problem that needed to be solved, you're looking around for somebody to solve the problem. It's like, all you got to do is pick this up and put it in the dump trailer. It's not that hard to do. So what we do is the skill level of what we do is not really high. However, even the simplest things, if you get really good at them, you can get paid really well. So in this case, what we would do is the guys that paid attention, who wanted to learn and wanted to grow and so on and so forth, and didn't really have the skill set to go into another trade. Let's say they're not a carpenter. They can't put kitchen cabinets together and make it look right. You know, they don't know how to cut concrete. They don't know how to do a lot of things. They've kept things in this tight little thing. So they're doing basic hands picking things up. I pick things up and I set them down. You know, remember that old commercial? So pretty much that. And I'm not above any of that, just so you know, because I do whatever I have to do, and I've been doing it. And all through my 50s, the first 5 years of my 50s, I was in the field doing this stuff myself. You know, after having a big real estate thing for a long time, I didn't do much manual labor. Okay, so I did a lot of it when I was a kid. You know, I worked for an electrician, and I dug his trenches from the garage to the house and stuff like that in Cincinnati. I mowed a lot of grass. I painted a lot of houses. I repaired a lot of drywall. I put in and figured out all kinds of stuff. I repaired the plumbing. I repaired the electric, whatever needed to be done, especially when we were first starting out with the rental properties and stuff like that. So what I did have was a very clear vision of what I didn't want. What I didn't want is I didn't want to live the defeated life that my parents lived. They did a great job in with the limitations that they had. Okay, the world was against both of them. Neither one of them got they didn't get decent parenting. Now my mom and dad, I I guess everybody loves their mom and dad, and I have my issues with my mom and dad. My issues with my mom and dad were the fact that they sold out to the premise that they couldn't do stuff. They just didn't know how, and didn't want to learn, and didn't have the gumption to do it, or the confidence. I don't know. My mom and my dad both, if you talk to them, they know so much, it's unbelievable. But a lot of it, they're just making it up. And it's a shame, because they taught me and my sister stuff that wasn't true. We had to get that unlearned as we grew into life. They could have just said, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. We could find out. They didn't do any of that. They would tell us stuff that was what they thought, and then they just making it up. Now, for me, that was hard, because I would go to school, and I'm kind of an outgoing person, and I would repeat these nonsense little things, and I would end up having people making fun of me and stuff like that, because I'm saying stupid stuff. And it's water under the bridge. But that's some of the stuff that I dealt with, and I've kind of dealt with this stuff in these books that I wrote. I actually went into a lot of detail about that, and it was good therapy. And then I deleted it all, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The reality of it is what I've learned, and how and where I've came from reading a lot of self-help books, reading the Bible, understanding life to the best of my ability. So let's get back to what I was talking about. So the employees. So the culture that has evolved through Logan, through myself, through doing this, our culture has come to this. So the way we work this is we work 3-man crews. Okay, we work 3-man crews because there's a lot of reasons. One is you have a new crew leader who is somebody who paid attention, who has moderate skill levels, who shows up every day, does what they're supposed to do, and will listen to us. And he's not able to keep track of 2 other people, or 4 other people. He can keep track of 2. So then you have a second guy, and he's typically trying to learn how to do what the crew leader's learning how to do. And he knows that as a crew leader, the crew leader gets paid off of the job on an hourly rate, but he also gets paid by getting a bonus. We give them a bonus. We pay them 2.5%. Now, I got that from the real estate business. You want to make more money, you want to hustle, you want to make more money. Why hustle if you're not going to make any more money? That makes sense to me. I'm a capitalist. I grew up in America. I grew up with nothing, and I made my own way, and I want to share that with these guys. So these guys, if they're cranking it out and they're supervising their 2 guys really well, they can make really good money. They can make, we've got guys that have made over $100,000 a year, doing demo. A lot of them are making 80 and 90 grand a year. Okay, so between the hours, we typically are working a 10-hour day, and the incentives. So what we do with the guys, because I can't be everywhere all the time, and I don't know who's not working and who's not helping out. So what we do is we do it this way. We say, look, you're the crew leader. If your guys are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, we want you to let us know. And don't fall in love with these guys, because if they're not going to work, you're doing their work. You doing their work is not a part of this equation. You're not supposed to do their work. They're either going to do their work, or we're going to find somebody that will. So for us, we're not trying to beat people into submission. You either want to work or you don't want to work. That's all we're going to identify. If you want to help, great. You want to be part of the team? Great. If you don't, I'm sorry, you can't be here. Now, how do we handle that? So basically, the crew leader says, hey, this guy's not doing his job, or he doesn't know how to do his job, or he's not capable of doing his job, or whatever. So because there's personality conflicts and you want to be fair to everybody, we take that person and we put them on a different crew. Now, if that same crew, it doesn't take long to figure this out, because if you're not helping, them guys notice it. Because if the 3 of you do your work all day long, then all of you are doing a moderate amount of work, and you get an amazing amount of stuff done, because we set them up for success. We give them every tool they need. We give them a dump trailer. We give them the box truck. We give them incentives for Google reviews and stuff like that. So what happens is the crew leader says this guy ain't working. We try him on another crew, he ain't working. We shake his hand, say, you want to grow up, become an adult? We don't tell them this. We basically, they know. We say, and we just say, hey, sorry, this ain't working out. Appreciate you giving us a try, and we'll see you. You want to try again in a month? That's fine, but you're going to have to come back with a new attitude. You're going to have to come back with the attitude that you're going to do your fair share, and you're not going to have these guys doing your work, because they're not going to do your work and you get paid for it. They'll do your work if they get paid for it. They don't mind that. That's the kind of guys. So there's nothing magical here about that, but it's a mindset and it's an approach, and you have to be strong enough to say, I'm sorry, this is not working out. Now, the way we do that, typically we do it with a text, okay? And you'll say, well, I've heard all kinds of different things over the years. Well, you're a coward, you're afraid, you're this, you're that. No, you're not. What happens is they come back and now you've called them out on it and they want to explain it to you. It doesn't matter. If it mattered, you would have done it in the first place. So I basically text them and say, look, hey, I like you. I'm sorry, but this is not working out. Okay? Please bring your shirts in on Friday when you pick up your check. And that's it. Now, then if they blow my phone up, I don't answer it. Okay? Now, I'll answer it the next day because I want them to get over the knee jerk. It's called a knee jerk. A knee jerk is when somebody tells you something you don't want to hear and you say something retaliatory because you're just mad. And what happens is it lets them calm down and cool down, and they think it through. Now, if they want to talk to me after that, or they want to talk to Talon after that, it's no problem. But we don't have time to listen to, well, my mom died, my dog died, or whatever. It doesn't matter. The reality of it is these other guys have their moms die and their dogs die, and they still show up to work and do their job. That's the basic premise of it. Guy shows up and says, I'm like, well, why are you late? Well, there was a lot of traffic. Well, there's 130 other guys that made it here, and they came down the same road you did. They all made it, but you had traffic? Come on, So we just don't, So the reality of it is, I got a rough-looking group of guys, but they're really not rough guys. They just look like they are. And you just say, look, this is just the way it is. And it works. So if you're not going to do your fair share, you can't be here. That's the saying that I have. Now, if you got to be a man and you got to do it all face-to-face, good for you. Emotionally, it'll take a toll on you because you're going to do this a lot in order to find the right guys. You do it the way you want to do it. I'm telling you how we did it. I'm telling you that after doing it for years and years and years and years, this is the best way we can do it. A lot of my best guys, they went through this process with me. They went through the process and they learned and they grew. And then they know what they can and what they can't get away with. And that's created the company we have, and we have a very strong culture. Okay? So anyway, that's how we do our hiring. The other thing don't get hung up on. You're going to have about 10 to 20% of your people, they're going to have stickiness to them. They want to be part of something. And we have something that's really cool, and you're a part of it. If you tell people you're with Remove It Pros, typically in this area, they think you're the shit. They think you're something else. Because we just got a really strong reputation. We got a strong reputation of coming in. See, we pull onto the job. We don't pull off for lunch. We eat our lunch there, and we bring every tool we needed, so we're not spending half the day running back and forth to Home Depot getting rental tools and stuff like that. And we get a lot done in a day compared to our competitors. And we do other things that help out the community, and these are other videos. But what happens at the end of the day, when we're done, not only did we do the demo, but we loaded it all up and we're taking it all with us. And your job site looks really amazing. And you go from a mess and in a day or 2 days or 3 days, because a lot of these jobs don't take very long to do, you've got a clean palette. You've got something that you can start with and you can get a lot done. So it's a beautiful thing. So that's it. So it's Remove It Pros Demolition is our main channel. This is the Remove It Pros Pure Entrepreneur, and we just talked about how we handle our labor.